All right, you guys, well, you blinked and you're here. We are officially 100 days into the Trump administration. So we are obviously going to do a 100-day check-in, see what's going good, see what's not going good, and all of everything in between. And I do want to give this precursor now that I did vote for Trump, but just because I voted for him does not mean I'm going to take it easy on him. I am still hypercritical of the government, and I will continue to do so. So if you're here to see somebody kiss his ass, this just isn't going to be the video for you. So I'm just going to let you know now. Without any further ado, my name is Noelle. This is Just Say No. Let's dive right in. I guess as many segments as I can, because truthfully it is a chaos onion. You pull back one layer of the onion and you find more chaos. However, who is actually surprised by that? If you're surprised by that, then I don't know what to tell you. It's Donald Trump, man. Further, I want to just elaborate a little bit more on my introduction about how I'm not going to kiss his ass. I made a video post-election essentially saying just because we avoided hitting an iceberg dead on with Harris Walls does not mean that we aren't still on a sinking ship. The deep state is still incredibly deep, and I think that we are seeing evidence of that. Although it has only been 100 days, I am trying to be gracious, but I'm, gonna call it as it is. So I just don't want anyone to let off of the gas just because Trump is in charge. He's in charge of a dangerously corrupt government, okay? And that does not just go away. So it's very important to continue to be incredibly critical. That's how I see it, at least. Maybe others are more optimistic, and I think I have a decent amount of optimism, but I'm a realist, and as a commentator, I almost feel obligated to be even harder on Trump because I did elect him, and there are certain things that I expect out of this presidency, and I am not gonna just shut up about the things that I want just because he won. And that's that. I fear I have never shut up about anything in my life. I will not start now. Okay, so 100 days in, his approval ratings are starting to go back to normal Trump levels. Some are even reflecting lower than that. And I have a different theory on this because I know that the left is screaming that the right is regretting their vote and yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. But I think that the left and the right are disliking Trump right now for two literally polar opposite reasons. The left hates Trump because he's Trump and everything he does is bad. But the right, if people on the right are upset with this administration, it is not because he's going crazy. It's because he's not going far enough. I promise you. There are other reasons, and we will get into them, but just right out of the gate, looking at approval ratings, I feel that it's because of little things adding up. We wanted the Epstein files. Where are they? We'll get into that. But little things like that, it's not necessarily that people are upset. They're like, oh, Trump's going crazy. We knew he'd go crazy. He's not going crazy enough. Shit is not smashed up enough, I fear. So, okay. Honestly, Doge is a really good example of this, so let's take a look at that specifically. In theory, Doge is fantastic. It is this outside branch that is taking a look at all of the corruption and all of the wasteful spending and where are our taxes going, and it's very... It exposes people on the left very abundantly because why are you so upset about showing the American people the wasteful spending, yada, yada, yada. You've heard it all over the last 100 days. But they came out hot, immediately going after U.S. aid, which I just want to be abundantly clear because people are talking still about U.S. aid like it's this incredible thing that's feeding orphans, African orphans overseas and doing all of this incredible stuff. U.S. aid stands for U.S. Agency of International Development, aka nation building, which is a really solid root of all of our forever wars, I fear. It's like a vertebrae on the spine of the backbone of the military industrial complex. So that was great. If we really want to put our tinfoil hats on here, there was a lot of outrage about whatever the hell it was, funding for transgender chimpanzees in Ghana or something. I highly doubt that that's actually what it was. I would be more inclined to believe that that is a front for shadier nation-building war type CIA operations. But let's just take that tinfoil hat off now and put it over there and get back to what we're actually talking about here. Okay, so we discovered all of this corruption. So then the logical next step will be when the next spending package, the continuing resolution, comes up for a vote, that reflect the corruption that we found. Granted, it all was happening very fast, but such things can be done. We have a supermajority and a mandate to do exactly that. But instead, we got portions of MAGA and Trump as hacking the one person who voted no, because that's like his issue. Thomas Massey's issue is government spending, and he does not ever vote for continuing resolutions, ever. All on the hopes and the swearing on the Bible that come September, we'll do it then. Maybe they will. Maybe they will. I'm skeptical. Can you blame me? I am skeptical, and you should be too. I just can't really think of a time that the government has said, we'll do it later, and then actually did it. Do not attack the messenger here. Okay, I'm just reporting the facts on the ground. These are the facts on the ground, and some might say that we had to pass this CR to get things done. Okay, you know what? I will give one benefit of the doubt card begrudgingly. I don't want to hand this thing over, but I will, because this is me trying to be optimistic, but I'm going to fight in September. Y'all, we're fighting. We're fighting in September, I'm telling you right now. A win is a win for Doge, for bringing it to the surface, bringing it to the public square, making it part of the discourse. These are all good things, but if we're not cutting the fraudulent spending that we're finding, then what the does it matter? Okie dokie, let's talk about immigration, you guys. This is definitely a highlight of the administration. We have gone from record high immigration under Joe Biden to record low almost immediately when Trump got in. You know, during the campaign, Biden said that, well, we tried to fix the immigration, but we needed to pass a bill, and Donald Trump stood in the way of that bill. We couldn't pass the bill because Trump called his buddies on Capitol Hill. And then Trump got in office and said, turns out we didn't need a new bill. We just needed a new president. And I call that a zinger. A zinger, because right he is. We just needed to enforce the laws that were already in the books. Something we've been saying for the last 4 years when the Democrats were screaming, however will we fix the border? It's so beyond our control. Whatever will we do? And so this is definitely a huge win. This is a huge win for Trump. There's been nearly 140,000 deportations so far this year. I've heard some people say that that's not like technically mass deportation. I don't know where the line is for what technically classifies mass deportation, but 140,000 people in 100 days seems like a lot. I mean, that seems like a lot. I'm not gonna be mad about that. No. Now I will say that there is obviously talk about the people who are being deported. Are they all here illegally? Are they legal citizens? Are they getting due process? And to that I say, if there are legitimate cases of legal citizens being deported, then we obviously need to stop that. We need to be speaking out against that. I don't know that I have seen that, but we need to be doing this in the most efficient and incorrect way without making it more difficult than it needs to be, I guess is what I'm saying. There's no need. Some of the people that we're going after, like, maybe we have bigger fish to fry than kids protesting on a college campus. I know that that's a big hoopla, a big debate. Obviously, there are extents to this. There are some kids who are straight up vandalizing, really being actually disruptive and not, I guess, conforming to the rules. Obviously, okay, yeah, but is that everyone? I just want to make sure that we are being above board. That's all. So, still definitely a win. I appreciate that we're moving fast and getting this done. I just want to make sure that we are sure. And while we are on the topic, I do want to talk about the hypocrisy of this, because there's been a lot of conversation about how evil Trump is for doing all of these deportations, and yet nobody has mentioned the fact that the record holder, the deportation king, some might say, is Barack Obama. Mr. Kids in Cages himself, the man who coined the term, created the thing, the mastermind of it all. Everything these people hate Trump for on immigration, Obama is the master of. So I just want to point that out real fast, because you're so mad, you're so pressed, but you won't say shit about Obama, I bet. Okie dokie, moving on. We were promised a lot of things, but one of them, and I understand that Rome wasn't built in a day, folks, I get it. But then don't tell me that it's gonna be, because then you're gonna get discontent. Okay, people are gonna become very irritated if you promise a ton of things to happen on day 1, and then on day 100 they still haven't. If you had said we're gonna get it done and not gave a timeline, people might be a little irritated, but you know, that whole day 1 thing is really biting you in the butt here. But particularly, there were some files. No files here. And I feel like this, among most things, is one of the highest as far as like biggest pieces of evidence that the deep state is real fucking deep, right? Because where are they? Where's the client list? I want unredacted JFK files. And they don't, because it incriminates the CIA. Tinfoil hat. Please. I know that one seems like it's not that big of a deal, but I really do think that this one is a really big issue for a lot of Trump supporters. And the fact that we haven't gotten them is becoming a bigger issue. Another day 1 promise. I will have the war with Ukraine over in 1 day. Someday I'll have a good Trump impersonation. That day is not today. Again, I recognize that this was likely hyperbolic, but like, just don't. Because now you have people who are displeased because it's not over. It isn't. Now, granted, as far as I know, we haven't sent any more funds to Ukraine. We're still sending money ass over foot to Israel, but we don't have to get into that, because I'm honestly not even that surprised about that. He did run a very pro-Israel campaign. Trump's incredibly pro-Israel, but it's just not America first, is it? And I can hear it in the comments. Israel's our ally. We need an ally. I don't care. I don't care. It turns out I don't care. Yeah. And I feel like funding other wars is not that. I feel like other nations are capable of taking care of this shit. And I don't know, that's just about where I'm at, to be completely honest with you guys. But now that I've got you all riled up, let's talk about the economy. Tariffs, baby. The truth is nobody knows. Nobody knows. We are seeing some impacts currently. As far as I know, most people have backed down, so the hope is that they will come back down. But I fear it's looking like Trump played a game and lost on this, because right now it's being felt by exactly the type of people who do not need to be feeling this. Now, I don't know that this is going to necessarily affect grocery prices, which was the biggest deal, but it is going to affect any kind of import, obviously. So hopefully they come back down soon. I understand why people are upset by this. I understand why people are scared. Now, as far as homegrown goods, though, it is looking good for that, because the price of oil is decreasing, and with the price of oil going down, the transportation of these homegrown goods also goes down, because it all comes back to oil and fuel and the cost of transportation. So on that front, things are looking better. But going back to tariffs, when this was originally proposed, the idea was to replace our income tax with tariffs, and that could have potentially worked, but the getting rid of the income tax needed to come first. That needed to be handled first before we did the tariffs, because now we have both. And that does not feel particularly useful. Once again, I understand why people White people are scared. There's a lot of talk that he's playing 4D chess. I don't see the track, and I fear that people give Trump a little bit too much credit. He's, at the end of the day, he's a man. Okay, Trump's just a man, and he can make mistakes. And I, of course, hope that there's a plan here. Obviously, I want Trump to win, because if Trump wins, we all win. But just what I'm seeing right now, I'm not completely sure. There obviously has been a spike. I am, again, hopeful that it will come down now that most of the tariffs have been lifted. But we will see. But we got to talk about some cabinet picks, you guys, because I'm trying to be optimistic. I am, I swear. But I feel like this administration just like stepped into the White House and got swallowed by the swamp, like, immediately. So there are some wins. RFK Jr. has put forth to ban artificial food dyes. From what I understand, this is happening state by state. Each state is kind of going a different route, but that is in the works. Unfortunately, it does seem like he has backed off of vaccines in general quite a bit. Again, it's only been 100 days, so I am more than willing to give him time to cook. You know, like, I'm not being overly nitpicky. I'm just it seems like he has gone a little bit soft, but you know, it has only been 100 days. Like, on these small minute things, I am more gracious. I do want to hold out hope for him. But then we also had our anti-war pick, Tulsi Gabbard, who I'm not even gonna get into the signal thing. It's just great stuff. She was cheering on the airstrikes in Yemen, which feels, I don't, just like a little not what she ever has run on before. So that's interesting. Kash Patel also has solely focused in the campaign on taking down bad guys in the deep state. And as far as I know, he's taken down bad guys off the street, which, love that. Yes, please get these criminals off the street. But once again, we elected you to take the bad guys down in the FBI, right? Again, 100 days, let him cook. You know, I assume that there are cases that need to be built. Who knows? You know, I am being more gracious on the cabinet picks because I am trying to be optimistic, frankly. So the philosophy currently on these things are let him cook. Yeah, those are the main points that I wanted to hit on, because those are the main points that I'm seeing circulating. I'm sure I missed something, but again, chaos onion. It's really, there's a lot there, and there's only so much that I can muster before my blood pressure starts going up, to be honest with you. Now, I know that this probably felt very, like, a very negative review. I don't necessarily mean it to be that way. I am overall very happy because, once again, this option is so much better than Kamala Harris that it's not even comprehensible, because the way that I personally see it is, if Kamala Harris had won this election, we would be getting everything that we're getting now with nothing else. Like, it'd just be all negative. Like, at least with Trump, there is hope for positives, and there has been some positives. So that alone, so there are 2 years until the midterm, so we do have time to get stuff done, because likely we will lose the House in the midterms. And I just want to say, if you are a Trump supporter and you are on fire right now over this review, log off, go touch grass, because he's just a man. Ew, I know. But he's just a man, and he's not God, and he's going to make mistakes, and this isn't going to be perfect, because, like I said, while he is at the helm, it is still the Titanic. For somebody who said I'm trying to be optimistic 8 times in this video, that was so pessimistic, wasn't it? We haven't hit the iceberg yet. Maybe. Have we? I think we might have, but I don't want to lose hope. So, yeah. All right, you guys. I want to end this video on a positive note. So just remember that while there are very real consequences of the things that our government does, the things that really matter are our family and our faith and God, and we have to rely on that the most. And again, I'm not minimizing any hardships or anything, any fears that anyone's having. We just have to trust in God. And to a certain degree, we do have to trust Trump. I mean, we really don't have any other option. We really don't. And I do think that everything will work out, will straighten itself out. And I do think that the wins do outweigh the losses, because I think that the losses are going to be very, very, very temporary and are going to correct very, very soon. I really do believe that. So yeah, as always, if you disagree with anything I said, leave it in the comments down below. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of you on this one, and I'm sorry. But once again, as a commentator, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like everything's perfect, because again, for the millionth time, we are still dealing with the US government, no matter who is in charge. Is what it is. But I love you guys. Subscribe to this channel if you want some more brutally honest takes that are going to raise your blood pressure. That's what I'm here for. And I will chat with you guys all later. Bye.